Hello and welcome to Skittles Saturday Suggestions. My name is Sarah Tillinghast. I'm a Platinum Certified Whole Brain Teaching Instructor, and today I want to talk to you about AlphaHawks. So as you can see, I'm back in my classroom, and this is actually take number 3 because since I'm back at school, there are interruptions that come in while I'm recording. So we're gonna try again. So I have 3 things that I do as steps for bringing AlphaHawks into the classroom. The first thing I do for my classroom is I introduce what an AlphaHawk is, and I just explain it to my kindergartners that AlphaHawks put others ahead of themselves. So AlphaHawks are role models. There are life guides. And so after I've given them that definition, then I give them an example of one of my AlphaHawks. I always start with my mom. It's one that is easy for my students to connect to. You do not have to use a family member for your personal AlphaHawk. And if you need suggestions or maybe just to bounce off some ideas, feel free to use our Whole Brain Teaching Facebook groups. That's what our Whole Brain Teaching community is there for, to help you and support you. I know many people who they do not use a family member as their first AlphaHawk that they introduce to their class. So the first thing, introduce AlphaHawks and your personal AlphaHawk. And the second thing is to start your AlphaHawk wall, which I have mine behind me. It is currently locked, and like Skittles is with her rainbows, I lock it up with some shiny clouds. So you introduce your AlphaHawk wall. So it doesn't matter what time of year you introduce AlphaHawks. I introduce it when I talk about positive leadership, which starts for week 4 for me. So I unveil my AlphaHawk wall, and then I send home a letter to parents explaining what we're doing in class with AlphaHawks. And then I also send a template home for the students to either put a photograph or draw a picture of their AlphaHawk on to bring back to share with the class. So that's always great, because once we start getting AlphaHawks on the wall, then we can start having students make statements and think about, how am I going to make my AlphaHawk proud today, and that kind of thing, or what would my AlphaHawk do in this situation. So a second step is to start your AlphaHawk wall, and the third step is to be referring to AlphaHawks throughout your classroom. And I know, Skittles knows, that in January and February, it's so easy to come up with AlphaHawks because you're going to be talking about all those awesome people from history that are referred to in January and February. So I get it. I know that that's going to be a great time, but there are AlphaHawks in fictional literature as well. So I brought some books today just as examples. So the first one is The Little Engine That Could. So one thing I always give as a suggestion, if you're not sure, is go through our 5 virtues. So glorious kindness, positive leadership, selfless courage, invincible grit, brainy creativity. Your AlphaHawks that you find should exhibit at least 4 or 5 of those, especially glorious kindness. So when you think about this little blue engine, and yes, I know the engine is not a person, but think about how this little blue engine was kind to the toys, showed leadership, and was courageous and had grit as she helped the toys get over the mountain. So that's my first example. My next one is the 3 questions. So the boy in this story, he asks 3 questions, and along the way, he actually helps some animals, and he ends up actually being an AlphaHawk in this story. He exhibits most of our character virtues throughout this story. So this is just another great one from literature. And then another one I have is Hedgehog Secret. So this story, actually, Hedgehog Secret, I mean, I hope this isn't a huge spoiler alert, but Hedgehog ends up being pregnant, but you don't even know that. You don't know that Hedgehog's about to have a baby, because at the very end is when she shows her animal friends that she's had a baby. But throughout her day, her animal friends keep coming by, asking her different questions or asking her to help with this and that, and she's like, okay, I'll try to get that done. And then at one point she does say, okay, you're gonna need to give me a couple minutes, and she goes inside and she has a baby. This comes back out out with her baby. But Hedgehog in this story is definitely an AlphaHawk. And there are so many other stories that have AlphaHawks in them. Those are just some examples. Thank you, Mr. Faulkner. Oh my goodness, that was an excellent story for a person with an AlphaHawk. So you can find them in fictional literature as well. But I'm like, history teachers, wow, like you have such a plethora of different people that you can talk about with each unit. AlphaHawks through history that had that positive leadership, that was showing kindness and courage and grit, and sometimes had to be creative in things that they did to help others. So yes, so that's all I have for today for AlphaHawks. Feel free to ask any questions. Again, I'm going to put some different links in the chat, including the podcast with Coach, when Coach talked about AlphaHawks on the Whole Brain Teaching podcast. And again, make sure you've joined our Facebook group communities. I'll put a couple of them also in the description below. And I hope you have a great week. And keep me posted. Share pictures, tag me in them when you get your AlphaHawk Wall started. And I can't wait to hear. Bye.